Hey, this is Courtney Barnett. You're listening to 88.5 WMNF Tampa.
The opinions presented on the Healthy Steps show are the evidence-based opinions of Dr. Fred Harvey, the callers, and his guests. These are not the opinions of the staff, the volunteers, or the board of WMNF. The information provided on the show is not intended to diagnose or treat any disease. There is no implied patient-physician relationship in these calls. The nature of the calls is educational and informational only.
Good morning to you, my dear friends. Isn't this just an exquisite way to boost your Monday to a new high, listening to the Healthy Steps radio show here on WMNF Tampa? And as it turns out, the only community-supported radio station that Tommy Walker ever streams, and you can stream us as well at WMNF.org. Today, Dr. Harvey bestows upon us another Ask Me Anything Monday module of the Healthy Steps radio show. So you know what needs to be done here. You can ask your medical questions and you can unburden yourself of your medical concerns by simply dialing 813-239-9663. Irene came in today looking forward to taking your call. That number again is 813-239-9663. You can also send an email to dj@wmnf.org and text us at 813-433-0885. Well, good morning to you, Dr. Harvey, and let me tell you, I always feel like we're walking on the sunny side of the street whenever you have Ask Me Anything Monday. Your listeners are the best in the world, and when they ring us up, they do so much more than just put Irene to work. They animate this show with a vigor that is the envy of everything and everyone on the airwaves. So I will stop my chin wagging here, Dr. Fred, and let you fire up this show. What is the skinny today?
Well, thank you, Bill, and good morning and happy Monday to everybody.
Yes, indeed. And back at you there, Doctor. Looking forward to another great show.
Me too. And I want to say thank you to all my wonderful listeners who are supporting the show. We went over the goal, so the station has some extra cash because of you to spread around to the other shows to support this whole station. Thanks. It was a great show last week, and I really appreciate Sean's help on it. He keeps me on track with making some requests for some pledges, and it was really worthwhile. So, there's been a lot of stuff in the news. It's kind of hard to stay abreast of it. But I remember watching cartoons on Saturday mornings when I was a kid. And whenever one of the protagonists in the cartoon would be surprised by something, one of my favorites was when Scooby-Doo would get surprised by something. And he would shake his head and his whole face would shake back and forth, making this funny sound that I won't repeat today because it's better with a visual. But this is the way I feel right now on basically a daily basis because I'm being assaulted by such bizarre news on just like every day that it makes my head spin. I'm referring today to a recent statement by a man I deeply distrust. His name is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And as Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services, he made a mention this weekend about a deep concern about the recent measles outbreak. The statement that is a really, really interesting one. I think it's going to blow a lot of people away who have been supporting him. But he has made like a 180-degree turnaround on his opinion about measles vaccines. He says that measles is a highly contagious respiratory illness with certain health risks, especially to unvaccinated individuals. And though he falls short of actually recommending everyone go and get a measles shot, because that would completely blow his cover, Vaccines, it says in this report, vaccines not only protect individual children from measles, but also contribute to community immunity. Herd immunity helps keep the measles down in the whole population, and protecting those who are unable to be vaccinated due to medical reasons. Now, there's a really good thing. Some people can't get a vaccine or it won't work because they have medical problems. And so, we've already had a couple deaths because of the massive anti-vax campaign in the alt-right community, especially in Texas. It's also the alt-left community. Any extremism in thinking about nonsense, non-science makes people make bad decisions, especially when it's fear-based. And this has basically been a fear campaign to keep people from getting vaccines, it seems. And so this is just one step going forth into the world of the RFK disinformation campaign and life. We have to remember that RFK is an oligarch, and oligarchs have agendas they're not going to tell us about. Oligarchs tend to make money when other people are suffering. It works that way. Other statements that this man has said that have really made me question things is that he's been peddling AIDS denialism and conspiracy theories, alleging that HIV does not cause AIDS. And he questions the theology that HIV is the sole cause of AIDS. Well, autoimmune, acquired immune deficiency states are simply that. AIDS describes one that is caused by HIV, but measles causes an acquired immunodeficiency state of sorts, because measles itself, the vaccine, can cause immunologic amnesia. It'll reset the entire immune system such that it will forget the things that it was already immune to and have to start over again. So it increases risk for further problems. And so, the AIDS denialism is something that's really consistent in a homophobic, misogynistic community. And it tends to fall right in line with the Nazi-like thinking that has everybody questioning the nature of these disinformation campaigns. He really has not a lot of evidence for many of the crazy statements that he makes. And, he has said in the past, no vaccine is safe and effective. Well, that's just a flat out lie. And he tries to deny that by saying that it's a fragment of a larger conversation. And even if it were, the statement itself is erroneous disinformation. It's just flat out wrong. And this is coming from a man who's not a medical doctor. He's a lawyer. I'm not even sure he understands how to read a scientific paper to determine its validity. And I can understand that much of the stuff that he's reading, because I've read a bunch of it, is nonsense, non-science. It's opinion-based conjecture. And one of the books I read recently, the author, who I won't name because I don't think it's worth reading, all of the references in the book were to her own works, which were opinions. They were opinions. And so she publishes opinion information or her personal data by looking at a live cell microscope scene and describing it without having any corroboration by any other scientist. She's corroborating her own work. And that's not what real scientists do. So we have to really take a lot of this weird information into really with a grain of salt. The problem is most people don't have the training to read a scientific paper and understand where it went wrong and why it's actually not saying what they say it says. It's a game that is played with politics in science these days. And the nature of this, it's just so pervasive. I mean, he has said in the past that there is tremendous evidence linking school shootings to antidepressants. Well, sure, but then we have to actually go into a multi-layered discussion of why antidepressants aren't even a class of medication that fits with the way science looks at biology and medicine. Because all of the antidepressants are actually designed to treat a symptom, but not a condition that's medically diagnosed. It's diagnosed by a questionnaire. Are you happy? Are you sad? Kind of thing, but they don't look at the biochemistry in the body to find out if there's a cytokine storm or a toxin or an inflammation that's causing the brain to dysfunction. Never do that. Never look at a brain image either. So it goes really deep. Yeah, there's probably some association of that because when you give somebody a medicine for a disease that's poorly illustrated by any kind of clinical research, and you think you're treating something when you're just treating symptoms that could be related to something that could be treated with a real intervention, it gets a little complex. And apparently at one point, Kennedy said, I think that in boys, there's chemical exposures like from pesticides that cause a lot of sexual dysphoria. He's right. We know that pesticides, herbicides, fragrances, and all these xenobiotics are biologic modifiers, and they cause changes in the way we think, have mood, and have our physiology behave, including with the metabolism of hormones. This is such a nuanced and deep discussion that it becomes really difficult to point it all out. But I can tell you right now, I'm going to be watching what Kennedy does on a daily basis because I trust nothing of his motivations. He has an agenda, and we don't know what it is, and he's not going to tell us. But I want you to tell me some things, and I know I got a full board of callers, so let's move on. This is WMNF, the Healthy Steps Show. I'm Dr. Fred Harvey.
And indeed you are, Dr. Fred Harvey. And this is the Healthy Steps Radio Show, and I do have Dave from Lakeland, Jerry, who's a global caller, and Gary from Clearwater, but I want to invite everyone to participate by giving us a call at 813-239-9663. Again, that number is 813-239-9663. Irene's in there waiting to take your call. You can also send your emails to dj@wmnf.org. Let's go to David in Lakeland. Good morning to you there, David.
Yes, I am. Good morning.
Good morning, David.
Good morning. My nephew, 33 years old, one day was experiencing some numbness on the left side of his face. He could not close his left eye, and his left side of his bottom lip just drooped like Sylvester Stallone situation. He went into a panic, went to the hospital. He was diagnosed with Bell's palsy.
Yes.
And the next 4 days, it was getting worse. I guess they gave him some steroids or something and some kind of electronic impulse therapy, which hurt him. So he stopped doing that. Still can't close his left eye. And eating and drinking has become a nightmare because everything comes out the left side of his face. Is there anything we can do to speed up his recovery?
How long has he been dealing with this?
2 weeks.
Okay, good. It's short-lived. Bell's palsy is a condition described by a Dr. Bell many years ago. It's a facial paralysis. Often it is associated with a virus like herpes virus, shingles, or even chickenpox can do it.
Wow.
And the cold sore, these are all associated because they actually reside in a nerve cell grouping it's called a ganglia, and it's the place where the central nerves come and connect with the peripheral nerves. And this specific ganglia is associated with the trigeminal nerve. Trigeminal means 3 branches. And if you take 3 fingers and put it on of your right hand and put it on your right face, you kind of have the distribution of the trigeminal nerve. One goes across the arch below your eye, one goes up to your forehead, and one goes down towards your jaw. So it is a motor nerve, not a sensory nerve. So rather than being but it can have sensory too. So you can get numb and weak, but usually it's mostly associated with just having a paralysis. And it takes weeks to get better. Sometimes people treat the virus with valacyclovir, an anti-herpes virus medicine. Steroids are sometimes used. TENS, electrical stimulation to stimulate the muscles is used. Massage, acupuncture, all kinds of things can be done for it, but it takes time to unwind. And he may want to tape his eye shut so it doesn't ulcerate until he can actually keep it shut.
Yes, he has been taping it when he sleeps. How spooky is that? Wow.
Yes.
All right, well, I will pass that information along, and thank you very much for your time.
You're so welcome. I hope it helps.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
And let's go to Jerry. Good morning, Jerry.
Hey, guys. Good morning. First of all, can I praise you guys for a little bit? Can I take a little bit of praise? A little bit of praise, man. Thank God you're still on the air. Thank God. And what an intro, man. What an introduction. Was that an incredible introduction or what? That was
Thank
an
you,
incredible introduction. And then, okay, so the Scooby-Doo, thanks for reminding me. I didn't watch a lot of Scooby-Doo, but what about Bugs, man? What about What's Up, Doc? What about Bugs?
Oh, What's Up, Doc, for sure.
Okay, so now into the serious question. So the serious question is, Doc, you're one of the best things. I refer you all the time. You're one of the best things on the air, one of the best things on the air right now. So my question to you is, can you summarize, or I realize you've brought in people before, and I bet you'll do it again, but summarize your, in the best way that you can, the differential right now between, medical chemical science and psychological science, because we're going through a psychological upheaval, right? I mean, it's beyond belief. So what I'll take my stuff off the air, but I want you to summarize the best thing you can tell people right now on a psychological level that will help us as a community get through all the stuff we're talking about right now. Okay?
I will. Thanks for the opening there.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Good. God bless you guys. God bless you guys.
And you
Thank
too.
you. Thank you, man.
So in 2013, right after I think it was 2013, the American Psychiatric Association published a book. They've published 5 of them now. It's called the DSM-5, Diagnostic Statistical Manual Number 5. And I don't know what the statistics are because it's basically not that. It's a symptom-based diagnostic manual. So what they've done is categorize behavior into things they can put a label on so they can justify an insurance company paying for a pill. Because there's no testing they do that I know of ever. And I know that all psychiatric issues are not the same. I just read a great article that has located a commonality of certain gene convergences. I'm not saying that we have a genetic diagnosis because it's nothing is that clear anywhere in nature or in biology. But what we know is that there is a convergence in this pattern. The Brits have done a great job of doing population-wide genome studies. So we have the genomes of lots of people, like 250,000 or something in Great Britain, that have been associated with illnesses and other things and labs and other things, but not their names. They've been depersonalized, but they're deeply data rich. So we look at these things and we can see trends. And so we know that there's certain connected issues, like bipolar disorder has some hard wiring stuff, like schizophrenia, autism. There are predispositions and there's convergences there, but it's not a diagnosis. But the things that most people have symptoms with, the people that most people actually get treated for, are anxiety and depression. And there is no biochemical clinical diagnosis done here. It's simply shooting from your hip 18th century medicine. It's frightening. Even 19th century medicine. Let's move it up. There was a president one time, and they went into his office and said, "Abe, you look depressed." And Abe said, "Well, my country's torn in half. There's 600,000 dead. Who wouldn't be sad?" And the doctor handed him a leech and said, "Here, you'll probably feel better." Well, I consider Prozac to be the leech today because that's about the same diagnostic methodology that most psychiatry and primary care uses to deal with psychological imbalances, which, because of religious weird overtones, we stigmatize these people for being immoral or whatever because they've made choices that didn't work because their brains were dysfunctional. I like to use the analogy that we use a lot of symptom-based diagnostics in medicine because that's what people tell us. You know, they tell us their symptoms. So if I had a person that came into my office and told me they were uninterested in seeing people, they were just withdrawn. And when they did see them, they were quite irritable. And they had no appetite. And they had lost a pound or two already. And if that's the only history I got, many people would suggest, well, you sound like you might be depressed would be the answer there. And then attaching that label inappropriately to this person, I'm saying inappropriately because there's a more history. The history is that the person has a fever of 103, horrible body aches, and a dry, racking cough. Well, that's influenza, not depression, and Prozac isn't the treatment. Tamiflu is. And so I would propose that we need to do better evaluation before we put people on medication for mood disorder that we haven't actually diagnosed. We've just evaluated by a history. It's frightening to think that no one's done a gluten sensitivity or a cytokine test on kids before they put them on ADHD medications because the brain can dysfunction if you're eating gluten.
Well, there
that are put into food, or the fragrances that teenagers smother their bodies with, these cheap crap xenobiotic hormone and mental status manipulating fragrance chemicals that kill. They cause diabetes, they cause obesity. We have the evidence in the literature, but our corrupt government is allowing this stuff to be put in our food. In our water, we have Prozac in the water. Come on, guys. There's a problem with toxicity, and this is what's never addressed because Western medicine will not address low-level toxicity. And it stacks up. 5G didn't cause COVID, but 5G contributed to the immune dysfunction that allowed it to happen. But nobody will address this because the job creators that are so important have actually bought off the federal government with fake news, just like they did with tobacco. We're not getting the truth. If we can eliminate the layers of toxins in our systems, we'll function well and we'll get less disease. But we're allowing ongoing constant pollution in the name of capitalistic profit, because profit is all that matters in this world. I'll get off my soapbox and mention that this is WMNF Tampa, the best radio station on the planet.
Indeed, indeed. And we want everyone to participate. I do have Gary from Clearwater. He's always a good one. He'll be coming on up next. And then Cindy. But you can participate as well. Don't wait till the last minute. Indulge now by calling 813-239-9663. Give us a call. That number again, 813-239-9663. Irene, she's waiting for you. And you can continue sending your emails to dj@wmnf.org. Let's go to Gary in Clearwater. Good morning to you, Gary, and welcome back.
Well, hello, you guys. Good morning.
Hi there, Gary.
I want to say that when I called you last week, you mentioned the question I had when you walk in an organic store. How do you know it's organic? Well, I went, after your advice, I went to an organic store, and the first thing I saw as I walked in was strawberries and bananas. Well, guess what? The barcode label didn't start with the 9. Then I went back to the store, and sure enough, all the organic stuff, the barcode started with the 9. So after that advice you gave me, I immediately came, long-time listener, first-time giver, and became a Circle of Friends member. With all the advice that gets me from you is very, always precise, and I want to thank you.
You're so welcome, and I want to thank you for becoming a Circle of Friends member. That's amazing. First-time giver, and you've been listening for years. Love you, Gary. Thank you so much.
Okay, goodbye.
Absolutely, Gary. I want to thank you as well. We do appreciate your support and your listening. So let's go to Cindy in St. Pete. Good morning, Cindy.
Hi, Dr. Harvey. I want to thank you for being a voice I can believe in this time of AI and uncertainty. And I have a question about IBS.
Yes.
I suffered from IBS-D for years, and I gave up coffee about a month ago. And since then, I have been severely constipated. And sorry to give TMI, but stools are really hard. And float. I've been eating a smoothie every day with flax meal and chia seeds, a salad every day, a lot of fiber, and I'm definitely drinking enough fluid. So I never took any medication for IBS, and I used to rely on my morning coffee to get things going. So is there anything else that I can do, or
well, a question. Did the coffee cause diarrhea, or did the coffee just have you regular?
It had me regular, but
okay. Why'd you stop it?
Because I ran out and it's expensive, so I just stopped. But I also have had insomnia since menopause, 17 years ago, and lately my sleep has been better than it's ever been. So I'm not going to start drinking it again.
You don't want to start drinking it again?
Yeah.
I don't blame you. That your insomnia is better is fantastic, and it could have been coffee doing it, because some people actually metabolize coffee very slowly, and if you have a cup or two in the morning, you might still have trouble sleeping at night. And so that may be why you're better with that. But the constipation issue, well, let's go back a little bit. IBS-D stands for IBS diarrhea, and that is a problem that's quite often associated with a problem called small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And
yeah, I just started making kefir.
Okay. So in your current situation, and actually even when you were using the coffee, did you have very much bloat in your stomach?
I don't think so. It just helped me to go.
Yeah. But even like now, are you having bloat today?
No, not at all.
Okay. So it doesn't sound like you have much in the realm of SIBO. It's more just the IBS. And so avoiding, like, you're having some problems with movement at this point, and coffee seemed to help. You might find that trying different other supports like magnesium citrate helps to hold water in your bowel along with the fiber.
Oh, okay.
And so does magnesium oxide. So even simple magnesium can be a really good way of actually adding a mineral that your body needs to run all the enzyme systems in the body, but also that helps to hold water in your gut so you can have a more normal bowel movement.
Yeah, because it's really frustrating that I drink a lot of fluids, but the stools are still rock hard.
Yeah, magnesium citrate comes in capsules and in liquid. I think it's easier to use capsules that you can adjust the dose. And unless you have a kidney problem, magnesium isn't an issue to take, up to 400 or 800 milligrams a day. There's a supplement called Calm powder that I believe has something in the vicinity of 400 milligrams per teaspoon. It's available over the counter. There's lots of different options to help make your bowels work better, and you're doing some of it. Eating the good roughage and soluble fiber like psyllium and chia and things like that, this is great, and taking lots of water. But there's more you can do, like I just mentioned.
Oh, okay, great. I bought magnesium to sleep at night, but I forgot it was citrate or the other one. I'll check when I get home.
And you're right, it does help with sleep too. So you'll be able to actually help both of those conditions you described with one supplement.
Oh, okay. One more quick question. I've been drinking tea with valerian in it.
Okay.
Is there any problems with long-term effects of that? I stopped taking melatonin, and I was on sleeping pills before too, which I haven't taken in months.
Good. Because we just found out, I just read an article last week that sleeping pills actually decrease the detoxification of your brain. At night, there's a special circulation that goes on that is stimulated by a certain cycling of one of your neurotransmitters, one of the brain chemicals that helps us think. And when you take a suppressive agent like Ambien or Zolpidem, it actually stops that cycle. So the toxins build up in the brain overnight rather than getting cleaned out. So it's good you're avoiding that.
And how about the valerian? Is that okay to take every night?
I've never read anything of long-term problems with that, but my hope would be that you wouldn't need to keep using it if you get your system balanced, like with some more magnesium. And another thing that does help women who are postmenopausal is progesterone at bedtime, oral progesterone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been scared of hormones, but I'll look.
Progesterone helps to prevent breast cancer, helps to prevent uterine cancer, helps to grow bones, hair, skin, and nails. It is a pro-life hormone.
Okay, so magnesium citrate and progesterone.
Yeah, you'll need a doctor to prescribe the oral progesterone, but you can find topical at health food stores.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And thank you, Cindy. Let's go to Memphis from Dunedin. Good morning, Memphis.
Hey, Doc. It's just Mary, Memphis Mary. But
Hi there.
We've spoken before. I've been through breast cancer, bubectomy, the Red Devil, and it was during COVID, so the hospitals were shut down. Had great surgeon, bubectomy, radiation, and I thought it was neuropathy, but it's clogged veins in my legs, which I found a really good vascular surgeon in St. Pete. Yes, and but we've discussed. You were talking Prozac, medical mushrooms. I wish you would go more into that.
Go more into what?
Here.
What do you want to know? What's the specific question?
Medical mushrooms. I wish you would go more into that.
Oh, okay.
Use them instead of Prozac.
Well, I wouldn't say instead of Prozac, but what we know about the psilocybin mushroom is that it induces changes in the brain that the antidepressants don't. In fact, the beneficial changes that occur when you ingest psilocybin mushroom are long-lasting. Johns Hopkins Psychedelic Research Unit proved that the most effective treatment for chronic depression is psilocybin mushrooms. There's nothing that compares to it. And yes, ma'am?
Do you think that we'll ever get them in Florida?
Well, I really don't know. I think it has a lot to do with the politics of money. And when a lobby called the pharmaceutical industry doesn't want a new chemical to come on the market that they can't control, own, patent, and use, then they're not interested. So they're going to make sure that nothing competes with their juggernaut of profit from medications that don't work.
Right. Yeah, I understand that completely. Well, I thank you for your time, and you have a blessed day.
You are so welcome. And just to continue on a little bit with the psilocybin mushroom issue, what they showed was that after the initial course, they had about 80% remission rate. 80% did no longer need medication. And when they checked it again 2 years later, they had 80% of that group that still was in remission. So a 2-year, 64% remission rate is vast and unheard of in any psychiatric intervention, bar none. So why isn't it? I think it would be great if all of my listeners were to go on to help educate more people about this. Spread this word, share this information, because the more people we have talking about it, the more likelihood is that we're going to have pressure put on our government to actually change. It won't happen until we pressure it.
Did the study? Was it Harvard? Or
I'm sorry?
you did the study?
Johns Hopkins is one of them. There are many out there.
All righty. Well, I'll print some out and pass them around.
Beautiful. Share the show, too, because then they can hear it and maybe get interested in going to look.
Yes. That's all I share this. This is the only radio station my radio knows how to play.
Wonderful.
Well, God bless you, and thank you so much for the information. It's fascinating.
You're welcome. Have a great week.
Blessed day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you there, Memphis Mary. And we're going to go to Gary in Illinois. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning, gentlemen. It's Greg.
Hey, Greg. How are you today?
I'm sorry. It is up there, and it does say Greg. My fault.
Yep, and we're cold up here. Hey, I'm actually calling on behalf of my partner. I had the privilege to visit her father in an extended care facility out of state, and he's in advanced Alzheimer's. He's not able to feed himself. He can't walk. He's in a walker because, I guess, of balance. And he no longer recognized my partner, and I'm wondering if there's anything at this point that can be done to maybe, at least to say goodbye to him. If he could, there could be a recognition again of people that were his family or anything at all. And that's what I'm just kind of maybe drawing at straws here, but it kind of broke my heart to see. And he does verbalize a lot, but it's like he's got a story in his own head. He's certainly seeing things and he sees what's happening. And every now and then there seems to be a breakthrough. So it's not like his brain isn't working, but I don't understand the disease, and I'm kind of calling on behalf of my partner and wondering if that's something that can be addressed, unfortunately, this late in the game.
Yeah, Greg, that is a really troubling story, and it's happening a lot. Really smart people sometimes don't get the dementia diagnosed until much later because they're able to actually create a pattern that appears to be they're actually actively engaging, but they're actually repeating old things they'd thought of. They have so much stored in their brain they can actually seem like they've not lost it till late, and then there's nothing much to do. I have not seen anybody with advanced dementia turn around. However, I believe in possibility. And I think there's all kinds of possibility coming up with the GLP-1 agonist medications. The Ozempic, Mounjaro type of medications are actually showing benefit in neurodegenerative disease, Parkinson's and Alzheimer's dementia. But I don't know how much benefit it would bring, but as far as I can see, the Alzheimer's medicines really aren't turning things around in a way that is meaningful for people. It's meaningful on paper. You get a 1 or 2 point shift in a cognitive test, but that's not showing up in actual livingness. And so it's possible that you might see a difference with one of these medications if you can get a doctor to prescribe it off-label for this unique use. Probably have to pay cash for it. Probably have to get it compounded because insurance won't pay for things that aren't directly diagnosis related. And so there's a lot of layers here, but there might be hope in that you might get a chance to say goodbye. But when it's very severe, the brain is so damaged that at that age, it's so hard to come back.
Okay, thank you. May I ask another question? She may have noticed some things, as do I. I don't know if it's everybody calls it, a senior moment, but I think for me, I'm holding 6 things in my head at once, and I'm doing 6 things at once, and I forget something. I walk into a room and I'm like, okay, what was that for? Or perhaps it is degenerative onset brain disease. Is there, I think you may have mentioned a book earlier, but for those of us that still have it, there's things we can do to, prevent it, other than detoxing, of course, and other things? Or what's your overall suggestion there?
Well, my good friend David Perlmutter has written a couple books on the brain, Grain Brain and Brain Maker. I'm developing some protocols with him at the moment. And the book that I've referred to in the past is written by Dale Bredesen, another neurologist who I have met, and I've been in class with him before, learning his protocols. And he has written a book called End of Alzheimer's, Reversing Cognitive Decline. And even prior to me reading that book, I was applying functional medicine principles, and I've watched people's cognitive function improve doing what we do, removing toxins, getting rid of lead and mercury out of the brain, reducing inflammation in the brain. It is so multifactorial that none of these one-item medicines are really going to help. But the weird thing is about GLP-1 agonist medications is they treat all of that because they turn back inflammation, which is what causes the degenerative brain disease in the first place. It's really amazing. And so I'm looking this year to be using more of those off-label to actually treat dementia, to see how we can get it to turn around. And I'm developing some protocols to look at the labs that indicate brain dysfunction from Alzheimer's disease and see if we can turn some of those numbers back around using GLP-1 inhibitors. And so there's lots of options here. But read End of Alzheimer's because it gives you a blueprint for what to do for yourself. You need to clean up your diet, get rid of the toxins, do the basic stuff. But you also might want to get an ApoE test. ApoE is a gene that predicts early onset of dementia.
Very good. And that's something you can actually run in a clinic such as yours, correct?
Absolutely. And you can walk into any lab test now or ask Quest because it's not an insurance covered lab because it's genetics. There's no disease associated with it. So you just go buy one cash at the place where you can get it cheapest and see if you've got it. And there are several iterations of it. APO 2, 3, 4. 4 is the bad one. If you have any 4 in your profile, ApoE4 is bad news. You need to do even more work than everybody else to keep your cholesterol controlled, your toxins down, your inflammation down. It's really, you get a blueprint for how hard you have to work, because I just read another article that tells us that when you look at the overall picture thing, this is the Brits again. They did this great study looking at the systems-wide, the population-wide genome, and they found that diseases, degenerative diseases, there's only about a 2% accounting for genetics in it. The rest is environment. And so we have a blueprint on our genes, but if we do the right nurture of those genes, even if there's missteps, we don't have to get the disease that was predicted by those genes.
I wholeheartedly agree on that. When I was in paramedic training, the cardiologist that started the program in the 70s said both his parents died in their 40s of sudden cardiac death. And he said, so I'm going to beat that. And this was 40 years ago, 45 years ago. And he didn't smoke. He exercised daily. He watched his diet. He focused on staying, thinking about not having it and actually thinking about his excellent life. And he died in his 80s, doubled his life expectancy. And they, named a wing of the hospital after him because he started Midwest Heart. So I agree with that. He beat it, and he had the genetics for it, but he knew that when he was in his 20s in medical school, and he did things to. So I'm glad to hear that even with an ApoE test that might be, significant, that it's really we need to focus on the opposite of what the genetics can mean. So it's good to hear that maybe 2%, which is a pretty good number.
Yes,
we don't have to be genetically predisposed in our minds, like, oh, now I'm going to get it. So
right. I see so many people caught up in this MTHFR gene thing. They're so obsessed with it because they've been told online this is like life and death stuff. Well, it's not. You can breathe. There's nothing really worrisome here. We just know what to do about it.
Amen. I'm glad that you and your profession are around for help like this. So exciting. Thank you for weighing in on this, Doc. And both you guys have a great week.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Best wishes to you and your partner. Okay, I do have Julie and Kathy, but we're coming down to the last 10 minutes, and I don't want people to be crawling in under the wire. Give us a call. You are listening to the Healthy Steps Radio Show. Dr. Fred Harvey here on at WMNF Tampa. The number to call is 813-239-9663. Let's go to Julie in Seminole.
Hi.
Hello, Julie.
Hello. I'm postmenopausal, and I've been diagnosed with PVCs, and they are, the doctor said 40% of the time because I wore the halter for 2 weeks.
So what are you diagnosed with?
PVCs, the heart,
Yes.
peripheral ventricular contractions.
Yes.
And he said they should be 20%, and I wore the halter for 2 weeks, and he said it's about 40%. And I was using I did tell him about estradiol cream I was using, and I did read that can cause it. And he said I should stop it and then come back in a couple months, and which I did. Stop it now. So he said to come back in April and get it redone. But the question I have is I was reading about, because he said the only thing that can fix it is basically the ablation or this medicine, this flectidone. But I'm just like wary of, invasive procedures and all that. So I'm kind of more lean towards holistic. And I read that you can do sometimes acupuncture can help. And I'm wondering if you have any insight on that.
Well, lots of things can help, but I'd rather find out why than just randomly treat.
Right.
And so
he said stress can be causing it, stress alongside with this estradiol cream. And he said to stop it and then get retested again, like wear the halter for 24 hours in April and see if it's gone down at all. But I did I only noticed, I don't even notice it, like only at night if I'm laying down, I feel like blood, like a little bit palpitation.
Yeah, so I have a question.
Okay.
When was your stress test?
I didn't even get a stress test.
Oh, okay. Well, one of the principal causes of PVC arrhythmia in any adult is actually a problem with coronary artery disease. But other things that induce extra beats like this are caffeine and alcohol.
Yes.
Poor sleep.
I gave up caffeine completely now because I was just drinking green tea a lot. And I really don't drink alcohol hardly ever. I'll have a glass of wine here and there. My stress is caused, I think, from my mother's 101, and she's really good. But she's really, really good. But I live with her, so that's a little bit stressful sometimes because I worry so much. And then I have a.
Why do you worry?
I just worry about her, and she has fallen a couple times.
Why? She's 101. What do you have to worry about?
She
made it. She won.
Already. I know.
What's that?
Fell twice, and then.
Okay. What? And why do you worry about that? People do that.
Well, she also had a heart attack a year and a half ago, so I don't know, but.
So I'd suggest that you probably don't need to worry about Mom. She's won her race. She's 101, and so. She can chill now, and you don't need to worry about her because whatever happens, you'll be able to deal with because we have a great medical system in Florida.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, also, I exercise a lot, and that doesn't seem to cause the palpitations at all. So I think it's more. I don't know what. I don't know what's really causing it.
Good. So here's a suggestion: have the guy do a stress test, and if they get better on the stress test, you know that they're irrelevant. If they get worse on the stress test, it's probably coronary artery disease, and you need to get that treated. So give that a try while you're waiting on the estrogen effect, and see what happens.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have a coronary artery disease because I've had all that stuff, all those tests done. So.
Oh, so you had a stress test.
Well, that's when you go on the treadmill, right?
Yes.
No, I haven't had that done.
Okay, so you haven't had a workup.
No.
But you don't know if you don't have coronary artery disease.
The cardiologist did ask me if it gets worse when I'm working out, and I said no. I never feel out of breath. I never have any shortness of breath. I never have any of the symptoms like you would get dizziness, nothing like that ever.
Yeah. Well, best wishes with that. give it a try like I recommended and see how it goes. Take care.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I do have Kathy from Sarasota, and we're down to about, I guess they call it the lightning round, the last 5 minutes. Good morning, Kathy.
Good morning. I have two very quick questions. One is about, you were talking about the measles vaccine, and I saw something that said if you had the vaccine in the 60s that you should get a booster. That's my first question. And then
I haven't seen that. I'm not sure. I haven't seen it recommended for anybody my age, but I'll look again. Currently, I don't plan to get one.
Okay. So thank you for that. And then the second question is, I eat a mostly vegan diet with some fish, so you could call it a pescatarian. And I was talking with friends about taking an amino acid supplement tablet. And I was wondering what you thought about that versus obviously food is the best, but to increase my protein.
Well, I think that you'll increase some specific needed amino acids, like the branched chain amino acids that we can't make and we have to ingest from some other source, or we don't make enough of. And so branched chain amino acids or essential amino acids formulas actually are supportive. But I think you could also get that same thing by doing a dense plant-based protein powder like VegaPro from Zymogen. That's pea and rice protein. So it's got a bean and a grain. So it gives you the full gamut of the essential proteins. And you can get like 20 grams of protein in that scoop. So consider something like that as well, because that's more close to having whole food. Good luck with that, Kathy. What's the second one?
No, that was the second one, the protein one. Okay. But you were saying Zymogen because it has a grain and pea. Is that what you said?
Grain and bean. You need plants. Beans lack some of the essentials. Grains lack some of the essentials. So when you put them together, beans and rice is a full protein. Beans alone or rice alone is not a full protein.
Perfect. Thank you for that advice.
You're welcome.
Okie dokie, we're down to a few seconds. So
yeah, we are. So I'll just look at a couple of emails. Sorry I couldn't get to the last ones online. Next time, hopefully we'll see you. Here's one asked about copper supplementation in liquid form. I don't do liquid anything. I'd rather just get it in a capsule. I think putting something in solution means you're transporting the weight of the water around with it, and that's just expensive. And I don't trust water-based solutions to not oxidize. And so I'd rather I have a little bit of copper in my multivitamin / multi-mineral combination. Here's one on sleep apnea. How are the results of a sleep lab study valid since they don't test sleepers in prone position, stomach sleepers? How is apnea diagnosis valid if sleep on stomach majority of the night? Well, if you're actually doing a test and you sleep on your stomach, then you'll get tested. In the sleep lab, you are free to sleep wherever you want to. You maybe start on your back, but you can roll side to side. You can roll on your belly. It may be uncomfortable, but I don't know of any restriction to that because I've been there. So I want to just remind everybody that after the Healthy Steps show today, you're going to be hearing from those wonderful hosts at Sustainable Living. It always interleaves with what I'm talking about here as far as ways to live healthfully. At noon, we have Community Speaks with Nabili, and we'll hear a Black History Month special called The Breakthrough of 48. It's about the American Civil Rights story. And then at 1 o'clock is The Scoop. And after that, we get Music Monday. And I'm so excited to have this day continue. So I want to thank Irene for answering the phones and you, Bill, for running the boards in-house for me. Thanks a lot. And I'll see you all next week.
Well, and I thank you for another great show. And also congratulations on making your goal. And I want to thank all of our callers for participating. They help make the show fantastic. So to everybody out there, take care and stay healthy. You have been listening to the Healthy Steps Radio Show with Dr. Fred Harvey here on WMNF Tampa. Coming up as quickly as a wizard can cast a spell is 5 minutes of NPR headline news, followed by the Sustainable Living Show, hosted by the Spit Polish team of Tanya Vidovic and Annie Ellis. Until next Monday at 10 a.m., thank you for supporting and listening to the Healthy Steps Radio Show with Dr. Fred Harvey here on WMNF Tampa.
your community conscious radio station. Stay safe, stay thoughtful, and know that you are loved.